while some pastors and some churches and some spiritual leaders and some celebrity Christians, while they have incredible platforms and talents and gifts to build a movement, revival requires an inexhaustible amount of power. And that revival movement is unsustainable upon human power alone. We will never have enough talent, giftedness, or savvy to make revival happen on our own. Human-powered renewal plans never work. It must be God. It must be God. When humans discovered flight, when the Wright brothers took their historic flight, there were two things that happened simultaneously. One, we had come to understand Bernoulli's principle, which tells us that if a wing is shaped correctly, that the wind traveling over the top of the wing, moving faster or having further to go than the wind underneath the wing, that it will create lift, that there will be more pressure underneath the wing than above it. We came to understand that principle, but simultaneously we also came to have engines that could produce enough thrust or force to push enough wind over the wing. You see, it wasn't enough to understand that the wind had to come over the top of the wing. We also had to have enough power to force enough wind or air over that wing. You see, the Wright brothers, they owned a bicycle shop. And it wasn't that they came to understand Bernoulli's principle of how wings could create lift, and so they developed flight by having bicycle pedal-powered flying vehicles. No, they built an engine that was light enough but also produced enough thrust or horsepower so that they could fly. It wasn't just the understanding of the right system, it was having the right amount or enough power behind that system. And I'm afraid that in the church today, we have given an incredible amount of effort and time and energy to right systems, which is a good thing. But those systems will fail us if they are not powered by God. We cannot pedal power the plane enough to get it off of the ground. It must have thrust and power from the inexhaustible power source of God Himself. John the Baptist preaches this message of preparation and repentance, and it was powered by God. His message was divine. His life was divinely originated. He stayed true to God's purposes and plans. His ministry was not built upon him. It was built upon the work of God. And because he had that right focus, when the time came for Jesus to become in the forefront, John had no problem with saying, he must increase and I must decrease. What John had out in the desert was not talent or strangeness or weirdness. What John had was spiritual authority born of the power of God.